All right, and we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. That I would do a live for you guys and gals. But if you guys would please remember to click a like on this video. If you are seeing it after the fact, drop a comment down below to help get it out there. And yeah, I'll chat with you guys. I'm not going to have specific topics on these anymore. I'm just going to jump in. We're just going to have lives. We're going to talk. We'll talk shop, obviously answer your questions, and we'll talk about training, we'll talk about nutrition, talk about gear, whatever you guys really need to talk about for the most part. But I'm going to avoid off-topic stuff, right? Plenty of off-topic stuff. Just needs to stay out of these. Also, I'm not going to put up with any nonsense at all. Zero tolerance for any BS. We're done. Prime with a Y. Hello, Coach. How you doing, Prime? How are you doing? And hit that like button for me, guys. And yeah, see what topics you people want to talk about. I think people were expecting this one. So we'll see who we get in here, what sort of people we get in the feed, how long I feel like running it. I may only run it about a half hour, right? You guys are getting a walk-in one in the mornings. This weather keeps up the weekend. You might not get one tomorrow, might not get a walk-in out there. And yeah, I thought I'd start doing some of these in the late evening, right? I'll start doing them kind of in the later evening, as long as I'm in and not doing anything at that time. So I just talking about to drop a like, Coach. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming in and dropping that like, brother. Yeah, those likes are what get people in here. Obviously, finished my training week. Happy with the training overall. I'm having to just scale volume back. I've reached a point where I've realized I just flat overtrain too much. And when you look at the volumes that I use, anytime I get my squat back up to 500 plus, it's relatively moderate. And I can do the same thing for my upper body. Just focus on progressive overload, looking at saying, what basic movements do I need, and just get my squat, bench, deadlift up and just keep getting thicker. So I'm just going to focus on lean gains, maybe a little recomposition, but just lean gains at this point, trying to stay right around 220. And then I may trim down a little bit later, trim down leaner after that. But I want to focus on just lean gains. So yeah, I'm carved up big time, lots of carbs, lots of electrolytes. You should do your natty or not videos. No, I really don't care. I just don't care anymore. Right? How about we just do one natty or not now? Everybody on YouTube Fitness and Instagram Fitness is on steroids. Done. There's your whole natty or not. Do you want to know how to tell? Are they making money on their physique? Are they making money on their performance? Are they able to, if they have enough outreach that they are making a living at it, then they are 100% on steroids. You can just drop that topic from there. I've started your knowledge program as someone who's never really lifted before, and your videos have been super helpful to me. Awesome, man. Right? I also realize how much time I spend on dumbass circuit workouts. That can be a problem, dude. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're first starting out in the gym and you've never done anything, a little bit of circuit training, if you're not sure what to do, you're still learning the basic lifts, some circuit training will help get you in shape, but you do need to get under a barbell before long, but a person could do circuit training for a month or two and it would help a lot. I can't believe there's still people who think that some NFL players are natty. It's ridiculous. There could be some natural NFL players. I mean, there probably are some. Nobody at a bowl game, but there's probably some. Boxing gyms, people do not know how to lift is all I realize. A lot of what you would call junk volume. Yeah, I mean, and there is tons of junk volume. Everyone pushes a lot of junk volume. And it's not that junk volume won't always prevent everyone from gaining. It just may not be doing anything for you. When I find that junk volume really undercuts gains is when it influences your early work, your early sets. I think that's when it's the biggest problem, unless it is causing overuse and inflammation issues. And I tend to agree with some of these other experts I know when they're looking at some of these really high volume studies. They're pointing out, yeah, a lot of that's inflammation. So sometimes when you guys are seeing any of this extra growth from the ultra high volumes, it's most likely inflammation showing up on those MRIs, because we don't really see it work in the real world, do we? Very rarely. Unless guys are using hefty amounts of gear. Doing barbell lifts for 6 months has made me more progress than lifting ever before. My coach has said my power has gone up a lot, and there's a BS myth that lifting weights makes you stuff. Sora, that's been thrown out years ago. Nobody believes that anymore. I need to tidy this beard up though, don't I? No one believes that anymore. All right. That's an outdated idea. Like that's been thrown out the window for 20 years. So if anyone's still repeating that, they're in the dark ages. Like no good coaches preach that anymore. But yeah, you should be getting more explosive. What sport do you think athletes use the most gear? I don't know. I'm not up to speed with what all the different athletes are doing to get through drug testing and what all they're using. Okay. Most athletes don't use large amounts of steroids. They use very small amounts. It's oftentimes other stuff that's being thrown in that might be at larger amounts. But as far as actual anabolics, very little. Like most pro athletes in most sports, probably less than 500 milligrams. Unless you're talking sports where you really benefit from being big, real big, then that's different. All right. Sources. People don't realize how much gear is used even in low-level amateur leagues, let alone pro. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen people pretty much juice themselves to death chasing a plastic trophy in bodybuilding who never got a pro card. Right? Coach, you in a small calorie surplus right now? I'm pretty much right at maintenance. Right at maintenance, approximately. I mean, I'm trying to stay around maintenance, but it could be off a little bit. Bradford, because I've been around a lot of it, but in current stuff, I don't know. Yeah, NFL players don't use a lot of AES, but they do use a lot of peptides. Growth hormone has always been big in the NFL. Okay. The NFL has always been big on growth. Think about it. The recovery and the sleep. Like what I know from my knowledge of that, NFL players are obsessed with sleep and recovery. Coach, what's your max squat these days? Probably right at 500. Hey, Bradford. No, he didn't tell me that. Richard Speck says 465 is what? T-Mobile won't hire you unless you have 20-inch biceps and a 25 fat-free mass index. Brady said he went to bed at 9 and woke up at 6 with 9.5 hours of sleep. Yeah. Is there a big difference between maxing on high bar and low bar? I'm definitely stronger on low bar. I mean, we've seen that displayed recently, earlier this year. Literally, BJJ comps, even 50% of the white belts are juiced up. So probably. And it makes sense. If people at that low level are willing to juice to win $0 a match, there's money. Exactly. When there's money on the line, absolutely. It makes sense, right? There's money on the line. Also, hit that like button, guys. There's way more of you commenting than there are likes. Come on, hit that like button. Yeah, reach over, hit the button. Give Daddy a like. Come on now. I find Natty or not videos so dumb. I mean, at a certain point they are. Because just assume people are on gear. You'll just be a lot better off if you just assume these heroes are on gear and just focus upon what works. Right? If you're going to choose to be natural, then stay natural. If you're going to choose to use gear, then use gear. But quit relying upon the results of other people as if you think they're natty or not. That's really going to lead to a lot of disappointment. Why don't you just use good training and good nutrition? Reach your best results. If you choose to stay natural, then understand it's just going to be a much slower process, right? And just live with it. Quit looking for examples. Like that's where people get messed up. Like, honestly, I'm going to be honest. If you need to find heroes that are natural for you to choose to stay natural, if that's what you're going to need to do, and you're going to worship at the feet of some guy because you believe he's natural, you should probably just go ahead and go on. You're going to be better off that way because you're going to be really disappointed And two, if you're that obsessed with it, it means you think about gear so much that you need to go look at those people. That means that all you do is think about gear. Like if you need to identify as natural all the time, just go ahead and jump on some tests. I mean, because if you're that obsessed with it, come on. Well, I haven't run one of these in a while. Timberwolf, what's your favorite tricep exercises? I don't know that I have a favorite. I really like laying extensions though, like dips. I like anything with dumbbells too, honestly. Right? Yeah. Hey, Timber, and my traffic is way down. Keep in mind, I gained 99% of those subs many years ago. I got my Silver Play Award like 9 years ago. That's behind me. That's 100,000 subscribers. So kind of do the math. It's just been slow coming along. That's why I put more work into my other social media than YouTube these days. Do you think you'll live another year? How's this? What are you talking? Yeah, what a weirdo. Okay, yeah, Nibble, you're just gonna have to go. Coming up with weird conspiracy theories. Bye. Skull crushers with an easy bar have been a staple. Yep. I like JM presses too. I just don't feel they get my triceps that big. I don't know. They definitely carry over to my bench. I never felt like I got amazing stimulus and stuff like the long head and stuff though, which is really what I need. But I do like JM presses. I used to do quite a few of them. Bradford, we meet again. I don't remember. Is this Bradford guy a troll or what is he? I don't remember. I tried a jam press with a Smith machine a few weeks back. It felt good, but then I realized it was on a Smith. You choose to use a Smith machine, whatever. That's your business. I don't like them. I don't have a lot of use for them. But, if that's what you feel like doing. They don't make a lot of sense to me on big movements, so I've just never understood the point. Like, I don't even understand a Smith machine squat. Like, why? Just go do a back squat at that point. Even Doug and I got in a conversation about that on Facebook on my wall. And I pointed out, but why? Why not just do a leg press? If you don't mind being locked in a path, leg press is going to put less stress on your back. Bradford. Ted has been pretty vocal about supporting me as a coach. Why are influencers deadlifting in the Smith machine? I'm not aware this is a thing. I've never seen anybody do that. Are they doing that now? Is that a thing? Guys, just deadlift. Grab a barbell and deadlift. Wow. Yes, Jeff, I'm going to do them a little more often. Definitely going to do them more often. I'm going to work them back in. But they need to kind of work around my life and schedule. So they're going to be probably more later in the evening when I do them like this. Works better for me. I tend to have other stuff going on sometimes earlier afternoons. So yeah. So I'll start doing them a lot more nights. And I'm going to keep doing the walking ones right now. But I don't know that these will be super long because honestly, I just don't enjoy sitting here doing these for an hour sometimes. Have you guys watched Elliot Holstrong, dude? I haven't seen Elliot in about a decade. I haven't seen Elliot in 10 or 12 years. I remember when he shouted me out about, 12 years ago, guys? Is that when Elliot gave me a shout out? So he's one of the OGs also. I haven't seen anything he's done in at least a decade, though. He's still making stuff. So I don't even know what his philosophies are these days, honestly. I don't really watch YouTube fitness, so to be fair. I find it personally kind of soul destroying and just the general lack of knowledge. Young guys who just don't have the experience to really be teaching people, genetics and trend. No, I just don't really want to see the latest nonsense from these influencers. I really don't. I just don't care. Why should I care? You know, I'm here on this channel at this point just to teach people training, get people strong, teach them nutrition, help people get healthier, get jacked, get strong, get better at their sports. And yes, it is storming right now. There's a thunderstorm going. Man. Let's get some other training type questions going. This got boring real fast. Asking about influencers and other people. But yeah, Bradford, why wouldn't Ted recommend my stuff? He gives plenty of shout outs in public, like vlogging, you know. So I've been on a steak and kimchi diet. The gains are amazing. I forgot what kimchi is. You should do videos debunking morons. But see, I don't need to watch the morons. I can just take whatever rumors are out there and we can dispel individual silly nonsense, right? We can just dispel silly nonsense without actually having to investigate those influencers. You know, like someone asked me, what do you think of this honey and salt thing? So I made a video and it'll come up in the rotation. You know, they asked me about 12 times, would I make a video discussing the trend of honey and salt as a pre-workout? And then I answered it in detail. Like honey doesn't even make sense as a pre-workout. It's 50% fructose. Your muscles can't even burn fructose. Your liver has to process it. You'd be better with white rice if you needed quick glucose. What's your heaviest lifts in the big four? What lift are you counting as the big four? And by heaviest, I'm only going to say lifts I've done on YouTube, because if I did it off camera years ago, it doesn't count, right? So we'll only stick with what you guys have seen me do. You need to tell me what the fourth big lift is, though. The barbell curl, the overhead press, the pull. What is your fourth lift? The most you guys have seen me bench, I've close grip 365 and I've wide grip 365 on the bench. I think the most I've done ever on camera with a normal back squat was around 550 or 545, but I did 605 once, a little high on a cambered bar. I've done 635 on just a normal conventional deadlift with just a belt. All right, overhead press, the most I overhead press, and I was pushing it hard and I had the range of motion. I did 227.5 for a strict press once. I've done 225 at least a dozen different times on camera, but I did PR it, put the micro plates on once and hit 227.5 one time before. Opinions on peptides you can replace? No, absolutely not. HGH is superior to peptides. The only reason peptides got popular was the cost of HGH. But now that the Chinese have flooded the market with cheap generics that are testing really good on purity for a few years, nobody should be messing with peptides at all. Like, why would you bother? You know, they're no longer a cost benefit. They used to be the thing; they were cheaper, so that's why people did them. And they're like, they're almost as good as HGH, but way less expensive. And then the cost is down. Way, way, way down in the last few years. So people who are in the know wouldn't bother anymore. And IGF-1 is its own separate topic. You shouldn't be messing with IGF-1 unless you really, really, really know what you're doing. And like, you better be monstrous. So people say, what do you mean monstrous? I don't know. If you're not 230 shredded, I wouldn't even be thinking about it. Like when you're like, man, I've been stuck at 230 every time I cut down to a bodybuilding show for like the past 2 years, man. I just can't get over 230 stage weight at 5'8" or something, right? That's when you start looking at IGF-1, you know. Or maybe even like you're stuck at 250. You can't get over like 250 completely shredded at a show. You know, you start looking into IGF-1 at that point. I mean, you're going to die, but you know, you're bodybuilding competitively. You already know that you're giving your life for it. Hit the iron hard and eat lots of protein, your IGF-1. Hey, Richard, we all know that, but he's talking about exogenous, which, if you do, you're not going to get bigger than Dorian Yates without it. You just have to accept that. Like, you want to be Ronnie Coleman size, you want to be in that size range, you're going to have to pen IGF-1 probably. You just have to accept that. And you're not going to get there with tested growth hormone. But what percentage of people are realistically trying to do that crazy nonsense? Are you the biggest you've ever been now? No. But yes, you are correct. Lifting weights and eating protein will massively increase your IGF-1 production. I mean, you're not wrong. It absolutely will. You say you were the biggest. What do you know? What did you do? I was younger, in my 20s. It's stuff. All right. Were you a mass monster back? No. No, I wasn't think I was that big, dude. No, I probably have more muscle now than when I was doing those. I'm not as fat. As far as the ammo stuff, I'm probably a little bigger now in terms of muscle. In the old reloading chats. I was fatter though then. Mm-hmm. No, the biggest I've ever been was probably around 27. Alan, when you do the powerlifting comp, no, you just tell the head judge. So when you go to set the rack heights and all that stuff, just show them. And then let the head judge know that you may not be able to lock out, and then double check the procedure and they'll go over it. Hey, Alan, are you talking about when I was fat, or are we talking about as like you need to be specific? I mean, keep in mind now, if we're going to say weight, I've been 320 pounds, but I wasn't lifting weights. I was lifting that there pizza and cheeseburgers. Does that count? I was drinking a 2-liter of Dr. Pepper every night before bed, lifting it several times. No, I was probably close to 320. I know it was over 300. It's an estimate because I didn't weigh. I was embarrassed to. I don't want to step on a scale. But so I'm only estimating. Probably ballpark. I definitely got back to 300 though when I got sick again because I weighed and checked. I got to fix this. I don't like soda at all, Richard, but when I was 19. Okay. Keep in mind, I'm 48 now. All right. Nope, I don't have any pictures. I made sure nobody had pictures of me back then. I was embarrassed, and I got rid of any of them. I think some family may have some floating around. If I could see if anyone has any, I could find out. But I was so embarrassed by how I looked back then. See, I never thought one day, hey, I might be on the internet listening to Useful. Like I was embarrassed as I was losing weight that I never looked like that. I don't understand why people hate on you. There isn't many that put up 500 squats or deadlifts on YouTube, especially at my age. They've got their own weird reason. I mean, Smooth, they have their reasons, but they fabricated an entire legend around me. That's not, at this point, not even based on reality. How heavy were you? Probably just under 300 there, Bradford. I use that because it's a good picture for reference. Because I was relearning to walk again and everything at that time and losing weight. And of course, I take her face out. But no, I mean, that was one of my wives. That was my second ex-wife. What's your thoughts on hammer strength, chest supporter rows? I suppose they're all right. Those numbers are elite level. The Fed I'm competing is telling me I need to send medical records in advance. Well, Alan, I don't know what Fed that is. I've never heard that. So I guess that's what you better do for that Fed. How often do you think most people can eat sweets and cheat meals? I personally can't. How do I become a god at lifting and strengthening? I have fat. You don't have a fast metabolism. That's not a real thing. You have a low appetite and you probably move a lot. Just eat more. Lift weights correctly, get on good programming, and eat more. Problem solved. Yeah, that's a good point. He says this Fed. What Fed are you talking about? It's definitely not the USPA. And if it's a problem in that Fed, then I guess change to Feds. I mean, there are massive Feds that don't require that. The APF, I didn't know the APF requires that. So that's the WPC's American branch, which I've been a certified international referee for them before. Hey, Jeff, I'm not going to discuss my competition future at all with you guys. When I compete, I'm just going to show up and compete with no warning. Not going to say what feds, not going to say what meets. I'll simply do it. Makes my life a lot easier if people don't know my plans. I've learned this with what I do. Don't tell the internet any of your plans, especially when you have crazy haters. Don't tell them what you're doing outside of what they see on the camera. And don't tell people your plans, just in life. But in general, that's good advice. I've seen a lot of really successful people tell me that. They're like, it doesn't matter that you're a YouTuber or not. Just don't tell people your plans. Like, it will always give people power over you. And that's a valid point. I have a bad habit of doing that. So I need to only lie about my plans. That's actually the smart approach. And it doesn't matter if people think you're a liar. It's smart. Don't tell people the truth about your plans. What are the best things? So yeah, let's do that. Yeah, guys, I'm going to compete in bodybuilding. I'm going to do the NPC. All right. Now they can go waste the next 1,000 hours harassing the NPC. What are the best exercises you usually do? For example, chest, shoulders, triceps. It's going to vary. At the moment, for this phase, bench press for chest, weighted pull-ups for lats, laterals for shoulders, and so on. Triceps this week, I was doing mostly laying extensions, like with a full pullover with an easy bar. So that's what I did this week. You can watch all my training, dude. All my training is documented. Every single set I do is documented with the date, the video footage, the weight, the reps, everything year round. I've been doing that for years and years and years and years. So you can see everything. Look at the vlogs this week. They have dates on them. But this week, that's what I'm messing with. I was doing more dips last week, but I want to go back to just more pause benching after my heavy work at the moment. Are there backdoor politics? Not as bad as bodybuilding. There's definitely politics. And I have found it helpful to maintain certain friendships. That is what kept me from having certain problems in the USPA. When I had problems with the Texas chair here, just due to troll situation, I had good connections reach up to the national office on my behalf and make sure that I wouldn't be banned from any national level stuff. So yes, politics and knowing people does help. Not like bodybuilding, though. It's not to that extent. Like, your friends will still red light your lifts, straight up. Like, people who you are close personal friends with will still red light a bad lift at a meet if they're judging it. If I'm farting after protein, it means you're probably lactose intolerant and you need a better protein powder. Also, starting strength that bad. It's not that bad, but it has issues. What do you think Lasha could do if he went flat out powerlifting? I don't know. Lasha's a strong dude, though. I mean, I don't know how he would rank in powerlifting, but he could absolutely go to the world level. Would he necessarily be breaking records? I don't know about that, right? I don't know about that, but could he definitely go to worlds? Yeah, in a heartbeat. Sounds like there's a lot of men of honor. I mean, I suppose so. I've been starting strength can take you to your strength standards, like bulk. I mean, you don't need to bulk like that. Like, don't bulk and get fat. You can bulk without getting fat. That's the main point. Starting strength will have you fat if you follow their dietary advice. You can do lean bulks, by the way, and just take your time going up. In fact, I recommend that. I highly recommend that. Yeah, 1 pound per month. I agree with Matt. That's usually what I tell guys, gain a pound a month. Guys are like, but I'm 160. Yeah, so do that for the next 3 years. All right. But this has probably run long enough. So I'm going to wind it down. I'm going to do this to where I'm probably only going to stay in these if I get supers. So just a nice, quick little chat with you guys and gals. So I love you guys and gals. I hope it's been informative. Let me give you guys a forearm shot before we go. I'm not all veiny today because it's cold in here. I got the AC on. It gets a little hotter. My house won't get cold enough for that to happen. And the summers here get crazy. Even when they fully fill Freon and everything in the AC. All right, guys, but I'm going to wind it down. So I hope it's been informative. I love all you guys and gals, and I'll talk to you next time.